Om Vagarthaviva Sampraktau Vagartha Pratipatthaye Jagataha Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwarau ஒன்றவன் தானே இரண்டவன் இன்னருள் நின்றனன் மூன்றினுள் நான்கு உணர்ந்தனன் ஐந்து வென்றனன் ஆறு விரிந்தனன் எழும்பாற் சென்றனன் தான் இருந்தான் உணர்ந்து எட்டே ஐந்து கரத்தனை ஆனை முகத்தனை இந்தின் இளம்பிறை போலும் ஈற்றினை நந்தி மகந்தனை ஞான கொழுந்தினை புந்தியில் வைத்தடி போற்றுகின்றேனே. நிதையே சர்வ வித்யானாம் விஷஜேவரோகிணாம் ரவே சர்வலோகானாம் தட்சிணாமூர்த்தயே நமः. Om Namah Shivaya. As a continuation of our discussion on Anuvakkam 2, we will today analyze each and every one of those yajus, 13 yajus in Anuvakkam 2. This is in continuation of the previous lecture, in which we discussed the generalities, the common thread running through that Anuvakkam, and all the topics covered in that. But now we will go into each one of those yajus and see the meaning word for word. Om Namah Shivaya. Namo hiranyavahave senhanye dishancha pataye namo namo. As we mentioned, the Ubayato Namaskara start from here, the double Namaskara. So there is a Namo at the beginning and also the end. Namo Namo. So usually when we chant, the last Namo of the previous verse will run into the first one of the following verse. So Namo Namo. Namo hiranyavahave senhanye dishanchapataye namo namo vrikshebhyo. Like that it will continuously go. So hiranyavahave, as we saw, is a golden arms, hiranyavahave. So it's just one aspect, it's a upalakshanam for the entire body. Golden arm center means his entire body is of golden hue. So what that indicates, also indicates Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means he is the source of all the creation. So he is the golden hole, as we call it. So Hiranyagarbha means he's the source of creation, not the black hole. He's a golden hole, complete. Golden hole, complete, not the black hole. So he's called Hiranyagarbha. That's why he's called Hiranyavahave. Namo Hiranyavarnaya Hiranyarupaya Hiranyavarnaya Hiranyarupaya Hiranyapataye Ambikapataye Umapataye Pashupataye Namo Namah. Ponnar Meniyane Ulitolai Arekasitu. So all the scriptures, whether Tamil or Sanskritam, they all talked about Lord Shiva in golden hue. When Manikavasagar says, Sendalal Purai Tiru Meniyum Kati Tiruperundurai Urai Kovilum Kati Samvardhagni Tati Pradipta Kanaka. Now, like the gold that's in the fire, that's the glow of Lord Parameshwara. Samvardhagni Tati Pradipta Kanaka. So, Armenian. So that's Hiranyagarbha, Hiranyavahave. Senanye, the leader of the hosts of all the celestial army. Senanye Dishanchapataye, and the leader of all the quarters, of all the 10 directions, which means the 10 directions stands for everything, the entire space, the entire cosmos. So he is the leader of everything. And then in terms of his golden hue, the Chandogya Upanishad describes Parameshwara as Apranakat Sarvam. Apranakat Sarvam, right from the tip of his nail, Eva Suvarnahatasya, is all gold. Even if he cuts a nail, make sure you get a clip of it because that's gold. Gold nail. Okay. It's not a stick-on nail, okay? It's a really gold. Okay. Dishanchapataye. How is he Dishanchapati? all directions. Now, when we say Drishanchapati, like I said, he stands for everything, the whole, WHOLE. So he's the substratum in everything. He is the substratum in you. He is the big I under your small I. So he's a big I. So he's the underlying consciousness. That's what Ramana Maharshi used to say always. He used to cry to everybody all the time. I mean, cry means in the sense he was so enamored by that concept. He wanted everybody to understand, find out that who that I is, find out who that you are, Nanya or Nanya. Not this non that identifies with the body, I'm 5 feet 10, no, not that kind of a little I, but that big I. So he is an underlying big I under all the small eyes. Because he's Antaryami, inner ruler, and the immortal that resides in the sun, in the moon, and controls everything. So he is the light in the sun. Next year, just Namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyo Pashunam Pataye Namo Nama. Vrikshebhyo, he is the trees. He is the oxygen factory. If there is no trees, there is no oxygen. So Lord Shiva gives you prana, the oxygen. So being in the tree, he being the oxygen factory, so he gives you oxygen, the life energy, the life-sustaining breath. Now, because of this, all this that's happening here, the carbon dioxide emissions and the ozone layer, hole in the ozone layer, a lot of the weather has taken topsy-turvy turns, because even here, you see there are storms in Texas just this week. In Houston, there was this crazy storm that came out of nowhere. It's not even a hurricane, but then it uprooted trees. It just shook buildings, and then the power outages everywhere. Even in India, that summer is like one horrible summer, is a brutal summer. So the weather is taking a beating because we are cutting down all the trees. We are cutting down all the life energy that's in all these trees. We are, on the one hand, we are increasing the carbon dioxide, and we are, on the other hand, we are cutting down all the oxygen factories. How smart are we? We are very smart people, human beings. Pashuna Harikeshebhyo. So the Harikeshebhya, and then later on there'll be another word called Harikeshayo Pavitine. Here it's Harikeshebhya. Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhya. Because it's associated with the tree here, this is kesha, is his hair, is green. And what is that? The leaves. Harikeshebhya, Vrikshebhya. And then down the line, in next year, in a few edges down, you have Harikeshayo Pavitine. There the meaning for Hari comes out to be dark-haired, one whose hair never goes gray. So he's eternal youth. So that's later down the line. So Harikesha, Pashunam Pataye. We're all the cattle. We're owned by Parameshwara. He leads us to, as they say, good pastures. So he is the leader of all the Pashus. Sayeka, that's only Rudra. Rudra is only one. Nadvitiyo. Nadvitiyo, there's no second to him. The cattle belonging to Rudra, that's us. All things from Brahma down to immovables are described as Pashus. So he is the overlord of all of this. Okay. That's what Tirumala would say. Padi pasu pasam yanappa harivai mundril padinai chendru anuha pasu pasam. He is apart from all this. The Pashus cannot reach him unless he graces with a pun on the word, unless he graces you on the green pastures, unless he showers his grace upon you. And then the third yajus is Saspinjarayat Tushimate Patina. So here, the two things are talked about. The grass, Saspinjara, the tender grass. So which is how the tender grass will not be green. It will be little yellow, little red tinged. That's a tender grass. So that's Saspinjara, yeah. She is radiant like the tender grass, like the light gold, like a gold. Saspinjarayat Tushimate. Patinam Pataye Namo Namah. Patinam, here Patinam means he is the Lord of all the paths. Tushimate also means effulgent, sharp. So, Saspinjaraya Tushimate. Saspinjaraya is a tender yellow grass, like the golden grass, because he himself is golden. Tushimate means the effulgent, the shining, self-illuminating. Rudra, who is in the grassy meadows with a sheen of a tender grass shining. And also Patinam Pataye. So far we have seen three patis. Hiranyavahave Senanye Dishanchapati Kshebhyo Harikeshebhyo Pashunam Pati. Now here is Patinam Pati. So why? Because in the first one, Hiranyahenanya Dishanchapati. He is the Lord of all directions. He knows where is what is. So he leads us. He Patinam Pati, he knows all the pathways. So his logic is very good. So he's a lot of all directions, a lot of everything. He knows all the directions. He knows what path goes where. And then he also leads the cattle. And he's also a lot of the path. So that's his Patinam Pati. And now when he leads also, he's a protector, Marga Bandhu. Now, the Margas are three different Margas. Marga Bandhu means that in Tamil and also as well as in Sanskritam, he has been talked about as a great Marga Bandhu. Appaya Dikshidhar has this wonderful Marga Bandhu Stotram. Phalavanam Rat Kiritam Palanetrarsi Dagda Pancheshakitam Shulahatarati Shuddhamadhendu Chudam Bhaje Margabandhum Shambho Mahadeva Devam Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Devesha Shambho Shambho Mahadeva Devam Ange Virajat Bhujangam Abraganga Taranga Viramottamangam Omkaravati Kurangam Siddha Sansevitangirim Bhaje Margabandhum Shambho Mahadeva Deva. And then Nambiyar also sang about him and being a Margabandhu. Vana Nadane Valittune Marunde. That's how he sang it. So he is a protector, he is a guide, and also he is a protector. He being the karma phaladatta, he sends you on the right path after you leave the body. So if you just followed all the scriptural injunctions and did your pujas, upasanas for your atmartham, for fulfilling your own desires, okay. So Kuber Lakshmi Agam, you did, Putragam Ashtyagam, you did, and you did this for that, you did this for that, just for yourself achieving certain goals. So you acquire certain punyas because you've done those. So what is the result of those punyas? You live in a heaven of Chandraloka for a while. But then once your deposit is exhausted, you're sent back here, right back to. So that is people who perform the Ishtapurtas, the good acts mentioned in the Vedas, they go on the Dakshina path and then attain heaven of the moon. But what about the people who take it a little further on the spiritual path, who do upasanas and jnana and dhyana, as mentioned in the Upanishads? They go on the northern route, the solar way, to the world of Brahmaloka, where they learn Brahma Vidya and get out of this vicious cycle of birth and death. Yukteswar Ji talks about, Yukteswar Giri talks about the different lokas that he was in Autobiography Yogi. He appears before Yogananda after he interned under the ground. He appears 3 days later in a hotel to Paramahamsa Yogananda. And he says, "Very good are you now?" He says, "I'm in this Brahmaloka guiding souls." So those who have followed the path of ascension, doing those kind of practices as advocated in the Upanishads, they follow that path to go to Brahmaloka. And what is the third path? You all know what the third path is. So neither this nor that. So by computer logic, if you did this, go this way. If you did this, you go that way. And if you push this button, you go down the hill, down the hole, which is Naraka. So these are all he's also, Rudra is the leader of all these paths as well, because he's a karma phaladata. So how does he dispense us that karma phaladata? By perfectly balanced. You did this is what you get. You did this, you get it. So like a justice, he's an impartial justice. Why? Because he's riding the bull of dharma, bablusha, yeah. So dharma represents impartial justice, unless you please him and then chant him those 300 names, then you get a little concession. The karmas come to you, but in a way that you can bear it. So that's the only concession you get there. And also eventually he can get you out of all the karmas if you just keep praying to Lord Shiva with those 300 names. Like Yajnavalkya says, Satradriya mantrena. So those are the nectarine, those 300 mantras are like the honey collected by all the bees. So that honey of those 300 names will liberate you. So Vivyadine, so how does he do? So he can also, in the process of dispensing dharma by riding the bull, he sometimes gives you jolt to wake you up. We all get shocks in our life, like the floods we had 2023. So that's a jolt. So he can jolt you from your slumber. When you're comfortable in a certain way of life, he wants to take you to the next level. He wants to take you to the next level. He jolts you up, shakes you up. Come on, get out of the rut. Get out of the comfort zone. Move, keep moving. So he can do that. And then Annanam Pataye, always he gives you food. He is a lot of foods, lot of all the foods. Annanam Pataye. That's why he gets Annabhishekam. Not other deities, but only Lord Shivalingam gets Annabhishekam. We have this one day in a year where completely, my God, if you see the Tanjore temple, it just rice and rice, mountain of rice, just being poured over the Shivalingam. So he's Annanam Pataye. That's how we thank him. Okay, we feed him with the same food that he gave us. Okay. Harikeshaya upavitine. So here, the Harikesha means Harikeshebhya vrikshebhyo. There the meaning was the Kesha was green, meaning the leaves. But here, upavitine, Harikeshaya upavitine. His holy thread that he wears they are the vines, what we call these vines on the trees. So the vines that climb the trees. So those is holy thread. And his hair is always dark because he's eternal youth. And he's also the Lord of all the vitality, pushti, pushtanam pataye, upavitine, pushtanam pataye. He is the Lord of all those people who are well nourished, and also he is the Lord of all nourishments. So that pushtanam pati includes everything. So what is pushti? What is nourishment? Not just food alone, not just vitamin and energy alone. It's nourishment. Good nourishment is healthy body, well nourished in terms of education, well nourished in terms of fullness of speech, well nourished in terms of possessions, your houses, your fields, your property, well nourished with the grains and cereals and children and cattle, and well nourished with dharma. So these are all part of this pushti. Pushti means all this covers. So he is the Lord of all this. Pushtana Pataye. On to Yajus number 6. Pavasya Hetye. So after providing all these material necessities that you need, food, nourishment, and everything, and then he needs to get you out of this cycle of birth and death. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So he's the only one who can do that. How does he do that? With an axe. Look at the axe that he has in his hand. Very strong axe with a very strong hand. He just chops asunder the tree of samsara that you have built. The tree of samsara that you have grown. That's why he's the only one we can axe it down. So this is a very important mantra, so we should keep repeating this. Bhavasya heti jagatam pataye namo. Bhavasya heti jagatam pataye, destroyer of samsara. He chops the samsara. And then why? He is a jagatam pati. He is a lord of this universe. He is the universe. He is in the universe. And he is the lord of the universe. He is the maker, the material, and the made, as we call in Advaita Vedanta. There's a material cause, intelligent cause. In Bhagavad Gita, we have these three examples. Urdhvam hulam madashakam ashvattam prahuravyayam chandasi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavit. Arjuna, I'll tell you about a tree. It's an upside down tree. What kind of upside down tree? It's a people tree. But a tree that's upside down. What is upside down? The roots are up and the branches are down. So what do you mean by this? This is an example of samsara. Your life, that your family you're assigned to, the husband or wife, or children, parents, your sibling, you're all assigned to other branches. So how did it all get assigned? Because the root cause is somewhere, which is hidden. Therefore, the roots are hidden above. And then what you see hidden above means in the subtle world, in the karmic region, in the subtle world, your roots are hidden. So in the astral region, which you cannot see. So urdhvam hulam adashakam. So what is in the manifest world that you can see? All these branches. So which branch came from which root, we don't know. Because very clearly says in the Gita that is hidden from you. But then the tree of samsara, he says you cannot see this tree because it's hidden from you. And he also says you got to cut this tree asunder. How can you cut a tree that you cannot see? Interesting, right? Roots above, branches below. You know what ashwa means? Ashwa means it's a tree that won't remain tomorrow. Swa means tomorrow. Ashwata, remain, tomorrow remain. Won't remain. So this is a paradox here. It's an eternal tree that doesn't remain tomorrow. Avyaya, eternal. Ashwattham prahuravyayam. It's an eternal tree that doesn't remain tomorrow. There's a lot of discussion on this, but we are not talking about Gita now, so I'll move on. Eternal tree that will not remain tomorrow. A sea that you cannot see, but you have to cut it down. Narupamasyeha tatho upalabhyate. It's not for you to see. You cannot see it. Tata upalabhyate. Na rupamasyeha. You cannot see the form of the tree. Na anto na chadhi na sampratishta na the origin. And the origin or the end you see. Ashvattamenam suviruda moolam ashanga shastrena dhiridena chitva. With an axe of detachment, you cut it asunder, but we cannot do that. So we seek Lord Shiva's help because he's Bhavasya Hetyai. And he's also Jagatam Bhavasya Hetye Jagatam Pataye Namo. So here just two mentions, Pashunam Pati. Here it says Jagatam Pati. So both are valid. Pashunam Pati, he is the one who is, because out of his compassion, he gives you this body, being the leader of all the Pashus, to work your karmas out. He gives you the instruments to work your karmas out. But then he's also compassionate enough, being the Arutperanjodi, being this Lord of everything. He gives you, it's possible for him to grace you with liberation by destroying all your karmas. So Jagatampati. So why Jagat? Jagatam Gacchati iti Jagat, because this is moving, it's changing. This creation is always changing, therefore Jagat. So he's not only the leader of the paths of all the worlds as well. What kind of worlds? Jagatampati. Jagatampati means all these 7 lokas upwards, 7 lokas downwards. Irel Rahirkam or Adibud. So Bhurlokam, Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Soham, Akahom, Janahom, Tavahom, Satyam. So all these 7 words. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala, Tala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Bhatala, all these nether worlds. 7 is a lot of those. Jagatampati. Rudraya tatha vinhe kshetranam pataye namo namam. Atatha vinhe is always ready to protect you with the bow that's already strung, and with an arrow set upon it. So with an arrow set upon it, and then was already strung, with an arrow already loaded upon, ready to shoot. Who? For any negative thing that comes to you, he protects you by being the kshetranam. But the kshetra means your body is a kshetra. So he protects you. He is the protector with the bow, that's arrow that's drawn on a bow, ready to be shot at anything that could hurt you. So Kshetranambati. Another meaning is he is also your heart is a kshetra. Where Irevaro Tondar Ulla Todukam. So the Lord always resides in the heart of a true devotee. So that is his kshetra, the heart of true devotees. And in the hearts of all beings, even though in the hearts of all beings only a true devotee realizes him. And then Sutaya Antyaya, he is a charioteer who can chariot your life, who can guide you. And chariot Suta also means Suta Uvacha. We have this Skanda Purana. Suta is also the Pauranika. Pauranika means one who explains the meaning of Puranas. So Suta Uvacha. So he's also truth. So he makes you understand the meaning of the scriptures, the message of the scriptures, being the Suta, the Pauranika, and also being the charioteer he guides. There are 2 meanings in that word. And Ahantyaya, Hantyaya means nobody can kill him, cannot be overcome and killed by anyone. He is the indestructible, effulgent self, like the picture, the effulgent. Pananampati, the Lord who protects all the woods, protector of lovely forests. It's a green Shiva here who protects the woods and the forests. And the Vanam also means here a lot of cremation grounds and all the burial grounds. So that's his home because he's a lot there, because he's waiting for you there. But nobody will go with you. He's the only one who goes with you on your last journey. உயிர்கொடு போகும்பொழுது உற்றார் யார் உள்ளரோ குற்றாலத்துறை கூத்தன் அல்லாது உற்றார் நமக்கு யார் உள்ளரோ. So when the life is taken away from you, no one else is with us except the Lord who resides in the Kutralam, Lord Parameshwara. Kutralam துறை கூத்தனல்லாது உற்றார் நமக்கு யாருளரோ தலையே நீவனங்கள். And then next year, just Rohitaya Stapataye. Now the green was started. This Indian flag here, green, white, and Shitikantaya, Nilagrivaya, Rohitaya Stapataye. So Rohita, Harikeshebhya. So green, red, and white. So Rohitaya Stapataye. Rohita, one who is gracious unto good speakers like the wise man. That's also Rohita. One who is red. And then Stapati is an architect. What kind of architect? He builds you a nice life for you. And then one who also builds a shield of protection for you. So he is Stapati as well. He's Rohita, he's Stapati. And then he's Vrikshanampati, Lord of the trees. Mantrane Vanijaya. Mantrane, 2 meanings. One is he is the essence of all the mantras, and also one who gave the mantras, who is in the mantras, and who is the goal of the mantra. So that's Mantrine. Other one is same meaning. Mantrine is also your counselor, Mantri. So that's Mantrine. Vanijaya. Vani means your walk. So Vanijaya. So everything, all the walk came from him. Walk, Vani. The other meaning also means Vanigam, Manibam. There's a lot of merchants. So Vanija is also the Lord of Merchants. He himself was a merchant. In Thiruvilayadal Puranam, he came as a bangle seller. And also he came as to Pandya as a seller of horses. So he himself is a merchant. Therefore, he's Vanija. Yeah. And then Kakshanam Pataye. Physically, he is the secret in all the dark places in the forest, the bushes and the thickets. So that's a Kakshanam Pati. Other meaning is he is the inner meaning of all the way. He is the hidden meaning of all the scriptures. Kakshanam Pataye. And then Vantaye, one who is immanent, one who is permeating this cosmos, Bhuvanam. So he, one who permeates this Bhuvanam, is called Bhuvantaye. Varivaskritaya, one who gives you all the riches. Aushadhinam Pati, he is the Lord of all the vegetations. So that's a lot. Then how does he protect you? Uchair Goshaya Krandayate. Akrandayate. So Akrandayate means he also makes his enemies weep. So Uchair Goshaya Akrandayate. He can raise a blood-curdling war cry. Oh, the blood-curdling, vittu, kottu, kollu, war cries. So he can raise a blood-curdling, Uchair Goshaya. What else he can do? With that cry that will make your enemies weep. Uchair Goshaya Krandayate. Pattinam Pataye. Here Pattinam Pataye means he's the leader of all the foot soldiers. He leads the soldier. Uchair Goshaya Krandayate. Pattinam Pataye. And then it is Krishna Vitaya. Krishna Vitaya means one who surrounds his enemies. Krishna Vitaya. Dhavate, it's not only can surround the enemies, but if there is somebody who escapes his surrounding, escapes his siege. So surround means he can lay siege to the army. Krishna Vetaya, he can lay siege to the army. So if somebody escapes that siege, then what he does, he's Dhavate. He can run ahead of them and cut off their retreat. So that he can do. Why does he do that? To protect the good, Sattvanam Pataye, protect all the good beings. So that's what it is. So with that, we will conclude our discussion of anuvakkam.